Hello, sir. So I've never recorded anything like this before, so forgive all of the errors. I'm gonna try to do it relatively live. I'm not gonna do the full routine, the full exercise, because mine is like an hour and a half long. So what I do is I do each exercise. I set a timer, and I'll give you the name of the app that you can use. It's called an interval timer. And so I set it for 1 minute, and then there's an interval that has a timer I have it set for like 11 seconds. And so that interval is the in between time exercises to transition to the next one. You could set it for like 20 seconds or 30 seconds or whatever you feel comfortable with, but you want it to be relatively quick, so I wouldn't go above 30 seconds because it's designed to be fast moving, to keep to cause sweat, right? So it's a continuous workout. A lot of times I do pause it if I'm having like a setup issue, or if I need water, I'll pause it then too. So another thing is I use these gloves. These are Gorilla Gloves. You can get them, and I said you can get kinds that you can still touch your phone, and pause it if you want to. Pause, stop, start. The reason I do this is because when I'm lifting really heavy weight above my head, this kind of traps the weight into my hands. So this is the heavy weight that I use here. So it's a 40-pound weight. So that's like going like that, right? And then I also have 30-pound weight, which I'm gonna just use for demonstration purposes. As we previously discussed in the text conversation, I would suggest starting off maybe the 12s or 15s, or something like that, just to get a baseline, figure out where you are at, because it's long. It's about an hour, depending on how many times you do repeat the whole thing. So I don't even know how many exercises are in it. It's probably like 10 to 15 total. But at the end of that, then you just start over from the beginning. And so I end up doing the whole cycle 3 times. But you could start with 2 times. I wouldn't do it just one time. You could do it just one time for like a week or something like that, just to acclimate your body to that movement, that fast pace, that minute of exercise with the 30 seconds off, minute on, 30 seconds off. Then there's also a smaller weight that I use for other things they're harder to do. This is 20 pounds, but you could do it all with one weight when you're just starting out. The other thing, chair. Right, so this is just a regular chair. Needed to be able to do particular movements where you're like sitting, and support too. Sometimes, right, like there's squats, things like that. So I'm just gonna kind of go through the exercises and demonstrate what each one is, and in the order that I do them. I think the order is important because it kind of balances everything out. That way you're not focusing super hard on one specific area for too long. So I'm gonna use the 30s for demonstration, right? Because I already did this morning. So the first thing I do leg. So chair like this, back. If you can do 2 hands and you can do a squat like this, you can totally do that. I have a balance problem. I'm kind of not coordinated, so I kind of need to hold on to something. So I use a heavier weight, like the heaviest weight, and I just do it on one side and then switch to the other side. So the first one, it's like this. So it's a pretty wide grip. Here, my back. So my feet are pretty wide apart. The reason they need to be wide apart, heel is just sort of the toes touching the ground, but like this, because you want this leg, this knee right here, to kind of stay at like as close to a 90-degree angle, up and down. Like that. Then timer goes off, minute goes by, switch over to the other side. So the leg, the weight, this leg here is closest to the weight. So it's not like this. It's like this. You want to keep your line. A lot of times, like I'll use the tile floor to line up where my feet are, so they're close to like in a straight line. But even this, right? So I always have, for me, I always have to watch how close my legs are, because I'll find my knee not being at a 90-degree angle, and it will be more than a 90-degree angle. So those are the first two. So that side and then that side. Next thing I do is this. By the way, I don't even know what the names of these exercises are. So straight, shoulder width grip here, like this. One up, straight up. Alternate to the other side. Trying to keep your bicep area close to your side as possible, like tight. So the bend is completely in your elbow and straight. For this exercise, this is one that I would use the mid-level weight. So it's usually a split between the 50-50 between the mid-level weight and the heavy weight. So next one, I'm gonna use this. The next one I would use the heavy weight, which is the 40 pounds, but you don't need to do that now. That's just stick with one range. So with this, we're bending over, and what we're gonna do is like this. And there's a spot between your shoulder blades back here that you wanna squeeze into. You wanna bend over at the waist, flat, straight back. So what that looks like from the side, just so you can see, because the angle with where the weight is going is kind of important. Slightly out, it's not straight up and down. Okay, so that. Then I do this. So take the same chair. Here, I usually put a pillow on it. Just grab whatever from somewhere. One knee on, one knee off. Like this. Grabbing here, holding on for security, right? For stability. Grabbing and putting the weight here, holding it here, up, down. Then that's 60 seconds there. Switching over. I usually just walk around the chair because I'm recording it. I'm gonna switch the chair around. So, this side, same thing. The weight is actually between my leg here. So I'm sort of making the tripod, so here, down, or not tripod, but 2 points. Tripod including my hands, I guess. And this, when I'm going up, it's never like a drop motion like that. It's always very controlled. It almost feels slow. Squeezing up, this is hitting right back here. And then, after that, take the chair, put that to the side. So this is back to leg. So this, I'm gonna try to make it so you can see my feet. But my feet are at an angle, not straight forward. You can do it straight forward, but you can also point them out slightly like a sumo wrestler. They're called sumo squats. So wider grip, slightly wider than your shoulders. I go like this and put the weights here and hold them together. These ones don't want to hold together though. So I'm just gonna kind of rest them on my shoulder. Get down as low as you can. You can challenge yourself by holding it down there. Also 60 seconds. Okay, so next is floor sit-ups. There are a couple different types of sit-ups that I do. I don't do traditional sit-ups. My side is actually slightly injured right now. I think I may have a broken rib from adventuring. But grab like a mat of some kind, or you can do it on the carpet if you want. It's just up to you. But I'm gonna move the camera here so you can see this. That's the best way to do this. Let's do it this way. Put the camera down for a second. So this, straightforward. Actually, let's go to the side over here. So my legs, when they go out, are gonna be like this. So I'll show you the top half in a second. With the legs, we want to keep them flat. So this is sort of an exercise of all over, all muscle combined together. And I realize it's kind of difficult because you can't see my top half right now. But now you can see the legs. I'll show you what the top half looks like. So with this, using a 30-pound weight, holding it like this. Oh, that's still not enough room. So my legs are straight. I'm laying flat on the ground right now. I'm gonna bring my legs up. I'm gonna crunch into like a ball, almost like fetus position here. But the weight is gonna be here. You wanna keep the whole thing as flat as possible. Hold it. Squeezing your abs the entire time. And the extension here, you can even hold that. It's like a reverse plank. So right now, like all of my muscles are tense. If you want to make it harder, you can put your legs up at a higher angle, pull them in. But just starting up flat and raising your legs slightly off the ground and pulling them in like that works just fine. Okay, so I'll usually do 2 minutes of that. So I'll do 2 rounds, but I usually switch it up to another exercise completely, ab exercise, but I can't even do it right now. It's like a controlled, I wonder if possibly if I could show you. If not, lower weight. Sitting up, leaning slightly back. So it's almost like you're falling over and doing a crunch sitting here. But then going to the side. You don't have to do that yet. It's a little bit more advanced. It's harder. I know it's harder because I'm having trouble doing it right now with the 20-pound weight. Okay, so after that, stand up. You are going like this. That 30 seconds in between starts to feel shorter and shorter. And initially at the first like 10 minutes, it feels like real long, but then it starts to go really fast. So here, I'm going like this. Square feet straight forward, square shoulders. That's not part of the move, but just get it up here, above head. Slowly. Like that. Okay, after that, back to the chair. So now we're using the chair sideways. Place it. I have a mirror right here. It really helps to have the mirror in front of you to see form. So with this one, you're kind of scooted up towards the front of the chair, because if you're not, or if you're too far into this chair, then you could really screw up the chair and hit it with the weight, which I've done a lot of damage. So this hand, I like this chair because it's got a grip here, so I can hold the form. This, we're going like this. Starting position is here. Leaning slightly forward, pushing back, coming straight up, slow and controlled. Right now I can tell I didn't quite get in the center of this chair because it's kind of wobbly. This does. This does back here. Flip the chair around. That's 60 seconds on that, and then 60 seconds on this side. One of the things I found if I'm working out in a new space with the weights, like it takes me longer because I don't know exactly where to put them when I'm done. And I actually just moved into this apartment, so I'm still learning that. Oh, I told you that before. So starting from this position, hand here, you can hold it here, something to kind of just hold your body stable. Lean forward slightly. Back. As far up. You can let that, you could hypothetically let that fall down into this position. And that's why it's kind of important to use a weight that you're comfortable with, because you don't want it to fall. You want that fall to be controlled. That's part of the exercise. Watching that whole, like controlling it as it falls into this motion here. I'm working on my knee. Going like that, and you'll feel it the whole way through here. You should feel it mostly back here and here, arms. After that, now it's push-up time. So you could totally do push-ups in a regular sense, right? You could do them on the floor like you may have been doing already. I do two different kinds, two different grips. So you can use the weights that you have. You want to set them up like this. Like that at an angle. Because the grip is going to be at that angle. And then there's going to be another one where they're actually parallel. But right now they're kind of catty corner to each other in 45-degree angles. So this is where we are now doing push-ups. So this is 60 seconds too, but I like to grip. The reason I like to do this is because you can go lower. If you do it just with your hands, which you can totally do, this is cool because you can actually go lower to the ground. And what I like to do is try to touch my chest to the ground, but just light enough, never resting on the ground. Always controlled, always pushing back up, right? So straight back. Like that. Okay, what is next? I'll just leave the camera here. Next thing, coming up into the chair. This is going to be bicep curls, 60 seconds on each side. So, minus what he says. Okay, so about this, right? So legs open like this at a 90-degree angle, basically, a little bit smaller. Elbow right into the center of your thigh for grip, for stability, so it's not shaking around. And I find that it helps me because I would kind of be wobbly maybe. But grabbing weight. Lifting up into the center, the weight is pointed in that direction. So this arm is actually parallel with this this leg. So 60 seconds on that side. Switch it around. You still get the 10-second or the whatever break, the interval break in between. Other side. If this gets too hard, don't stop. What you can do is go like this. You can take one finger. You'd be surprised what you can do with like one finger when you're trying to help yourself. When you're going up, you can just kind of guide up just a little bit to get over, because you might get to a point where you're like, can't get it up here. It gets stuck in your muscle because you've been working hard. So just kind of guiding it up. So you're still completing the movement, but just with a little assistance with this other hand. You're not like grabbing your hand and pulling up, just a little bit like that. After that, we stand. For this one, I would normally use these weights, but I'm not going to, because it's, like I said, I did it already today. So, this is going to be like this. Actually, let me change this camera angle. Like this. This is just going to be straight up and down. We're starting here with the weights rested on your shoulder, just lightly holding your shoulders more of like holding them in place, but not like using them for support. Up, straight up, straight down. That 60 seconds. Again. Okay. Then after that, push-ups. So this time, these weights are parallel to each other. Shoulder width apart, not super wide. The wider you put them apart, the harder it will be. So however wide you put them, the harder it will be. Like the wider you go, the higher up it actually goes up on your chest, the muscle that it's working. But there's other exercises that are doing that too. And with this, the cool thing about push-ups, I think, is that it makes you use the rest of your body. So like you have to have your legs engaged, you have to have your core engaged, your neck has to be engaged. So it's because it's like doing a plank, right? That's why people talk about planks. Doing all of this, I can do planks. I can stay in a plank position for like 20 minutes straight. So, still straight form like this. Once again, with that raised, your hands raised off the ground, you can go lower. Now I know you're saying you were modifying stuff, right? So to get to that modifier, I'm sure you're probably doing this, but you start in a push-up position and then you just drop your knees, right? Like right in place. And that's totally acceptable. So there are two different types of push-ups. The one that's got like this, and then one like this. The military doesn't produce people that are huge for, like, they're known for doing push-ups, right? That's where that came from. Then after that, this is where I actually have to go to a low weight. Because this is something I saw. So I get Men's Health, or something like that magazine. So this exercise I got from Henry Cavalieri, who was the Superman. So I call this Superman, right? So feet shoulder width apart. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fly like this. So my form might be a little bit messed up with this because this is all jacked up right now. Still controlled. I can tell on my right side right now, that's the side that I was pointing to. It's a little injured, so I'm like tending to drop it a little. Like I want to like let gravity take over. When the weights come down, I'm just resting here at the side. And you'll be able to feel this. This one, it seems super, super simple. And usually the weight is low. Like you may even do like 5s doing this, right? But because it's more challenging, like you feel it right across here. So I can tell when I haven't done these in a while, like I hurt my shoulder skiing in the spring, and I couldn't do those. I couldn't go like this. But I could see it, and it's like this top part right here of your muscle, like right underneath your collarbone. That is the last exercise in the whole thing. So then at the beginning, that would be the end. And then I would go over to doing those back to this. Cool thing about the chair is you got it everywhere. So wide grip, or wide foot stance. I use a countertop too. You can use whatever. Then the very last thing that I do, just to round everything off, is a little pull-up bar action, right? Because this is now using everything together. It's using your stomach, your legs, especially if you curl your legs up while you're doing it. You can do different grips. I like this one. This is not required. I just like doing this because it's cool. I think. I don't know. I feel like it rounds everything out. Plus, then you can practice holding your body weight. So hopefully that helps. That is the whole rotation. I don't do the pull-ups every time. So I just do it at the end for maybe like 10 to 20 pull-ups. Pull-ups are a challenge for people. So if someone's able to do 2 or 3, or sometimes even 1, you're doing a great job. So hopefully this helps. I'm really, really proud that you were able to do the push-ups, do the push-up challenge. That's super, super cool. That's always a good thing to do if you're at the office or something like that. We did a group of people on Instagram or social media. We did a push-up challenge. And so every day people recorded themselves doing 25 push-ups. And so that's where I kind of got that idea, or why I'm calling it the push-up challenge. Because you see results from it right away. and all of the things I just showed you, it helps with all of that. So hopefully that helps. Let me know what you think. Sorry for the video quality and all of this. But I look forward to talking with you soon.